episodes, then those we can kind of wing it in a way because that's what you're supposed to do. But this 0 thing, you kind of can't.
I would say it's.
I'm your host, John Budsucker, and welcome to our
Mr. Buttlicker. Our prices have never been lower.
Oh, I said Budsucker.
I know, and I said Buttlicker because that's how you quote The Office, right? Stupid.
Ha 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 ha.
No, but you gotta make this like episode like.
And I'm the official storyteller.
One podcast they made it 0.1.
That's gonna be the intro to the podcast.
Perfect.
I don't think John Budsucker is gonna like that.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Can I start now?
I was doing music.
Okay. All right, guys. Hi. Welcome back to the first podcast. Welcome back. Welcome to the first.
I haven't even started yet.
I know. I fucked up already. Welcome to the first podcast, episode 0. My name is Jacob. Whatever. Wait, what's the name of this podcast? Oh, the subtle art of whatever.
You silly goose.
I'm your main number one host here, whatever, Jacob. Next, we got...
Hi, I'm Tyler over here. I don't have a creative nickname like my friend Jake over here, but I can tell you something. You're going to have fun on this podcast. Yes, sir, you are.
And then I'm Matt, like a doormat. There's really not much about me. Yeah.
There really isn't. There's nothing about him.
Pretty basic.
He's pretty boring.
Yeah, he doesn't sit at Starbucks for 10 hours a day.
I'm like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. That's how plain I am.
Hey, listen, that's my favorite character, bro, okay?
Oh, my bad.
All right, so we're going to talk about what this podcast is for. And does any of you have an answer of what this podcast is for?
I do, actually. So this podcast, the title of it is Subtle Art of Whatever. So in context, each topic is just like what it says, whatever. You know, we take I'm not going to say controversial topics, but we really are going to explore the world a little bit on this podcast, and we are going to talk about whatever and anything and everywhere. And for our friends out there who are listening to this and are going to get all kinds of their knickers in a twist because we're probably talking about them, a little disclaimer, folks, we're not talking about you. We will not use your real names. We will not use your real friends with all that kind of good stuff, but you'll know.
Yeah,
you'll
like
know.
if your name's Amanda, we're gonna call you Manny. Like you'll never know.
You may not. Your name may not be out there, but let me tell you something.
Your story will be out there.
You will know, and just so you know, that contract you signed, thinking that you were getting that free car, that wasn't no free car. You signed a whole agreement saying you're not gonna. Yeah, you're not. Gonna
I don't even know what contract you're talking about, but okay.
Yeah, that was in secret, Jake.
You thought it was for his new student class. It was like a petition or something. No, that was your contract.
You remember that? You remember my speech class over at Valencia? You know, they say we have to get an audience. I made everyone sign this thing, but they're not an audience. Actually, I do need an audience. Actually, just putting that out there. I have like 3 different speeches I have to do.
All right, so we're gonna talk about like the topics that we're gonna be talking like about, and we have a couple already set in line of what we're gonna talk about. Mr. Tyler over here, he's the one who picked the very first topic. So it's it is relationships, friendships, and then we're gonna go into like the cheating aspect. People feel like that's gonna take a very long time, so we're gonna break his whole podcast episode up into 2 sections, and then we're gonna go from cheating to like being in love for the second part of that episode podcast. Next, I'm gonna do one of my topics, which is like parents yelling in public, like that awkward moment. That awkward moment when you're in public and your parents are just like screaming at like the employee, and you're just like, what the hell is going on?
My mom at the McDonald's worker when she asks for 2 sauces and only gets 1. Me in the back seat.
Yo, that's the truest statement I've ever heard. I absolutely hate being out in public, and your parents just start yelling at
this is a topic. You got to save all of this.
It never goes away, though.
I'm going to topic you in a minute,
wrong.
okay?
You're not wrong.
Listen, the podcast is a safe zone for anything and everything. Do not start with
is that
me.
Another slogan you're going to come up with?
Hey, listen, that's a good one, isn't it? Don't start with me, Jake.
That's our
next one. It's kind of. I think it was kind of like all of our idea, but like Matt definitely had a part in this one. It was like 9/11 and conspiracy theories.
That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Just so y'all know, we're going up and down. First, we're starting a little modest. Then we had a really good one, and now we're just going up and down. It's a wave, friends.
I just want to say, for those who like conspiracy theories, it's gonna get fun that episode.
Yeah, we might have to break down up into 4 or 5 parts because there's so much going on in that world.
We'll probably do like different episodes like every like once in a while of a conspiracy.
I already have
theory.
a binder full, so we're set.
Oh my god!
Not actually, in my head, will count as a binder.
In your head, what count as a binder?
Is it a 3.5 inch binder or 1.5
No,
inch binder?
It's just a 1.5 inch.
Oh, it's a pretty small one.
Yeah. There's,
Listen, I hated those 3.5 inch binders, friends.
So my brain is 1.5.
If you ever gone to one of the Central Florida, the largest county in Central Florida, I can tell you right now, that school district doesn't know what they're doing. 3.5 inch binders, what is wrong with them? Like, that's too big. I don't have enough room in my backpack for that, especially for the kids who are rocking the JanSport backpacks.
You know what else I never understood about school was like how the higher in grades you went, the less and less shit you had in your book bag.
Yes.
Like in sixth grade, I remember having like so much shit in my book bag, and then by 8th grade, it was fucking empty.
Yeah, like that, I don't understand. And then you get to high school and you have like laptops, depending on your school, obviously. But I don't understand like these kids who come to a high school class. You know, you have a laptop, you maybe have like a notebook, but their bags are full of absolute nonsense. Like, why do you need 5 different notebooks for the same class? You can use one notebook, friends.
Or like why do you need like an extra big tea or your hydro flask or a
For your friendship bracelets.
Hydro
Hydro flask is for your friendship bracelet. I can't forget it.
So, wait,
friendship.
do y'all want to say the high school's name on here? No. Okay. So
until we get sued.
so for our friends over at that high school that we used to go to, let me tell you.
We'll say the letters. It is it has a letter E in it and a letter R
and
in it.
HS.
No, technically we could say it because there's multiple schools locally.
Well, with
No,
the
like-
same name, you're right.
Yeah, but
You're not wrong.
But the problem is like
ERHS.
Yeah. So just so you know, the letters E, letters R, letters H, the letters S. Now,
And
for
by the
our
way,
friends there
HS
who are
stands for
rocking
high
the
school.
baby powder bracelets. I don't know what's wrong with your lives over there. Go to sleep, man. I don't know what's wrong with your lives.
Go to sleep trap.
I don't know what's wrong with your lives, but y'all are taken like to a whole
And I-
other level.
Okay, I just want to point out that baby powder has made us 2-0 in the one game that we have not brought the baby powder. We lost. Just saying.
Oh, the TC
Don't
game.
get me wrong. Like, I understand,
Yeah.
but it's kind of weird. Like, I don't understand how we went for because Jake and I, for a little background on ourselves, Jake and I graduated. Matt here has not.
Yeah, he's still in high. He's a little
1 year
baby.
younger than us. Still younger. Just
He's like
putting it out
he's
there.
like a year and a half younger than us.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's weird how like the world went up and down as terms of school spirit. I don't understand how our year we had some spirit, but this year those kids are crazy. Okay.
Okay, yeah, but like last year, all of our seniors, Tyler, all of our seniors just wanted to like die.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like we
Like
wanted
they
to
didn't, we
leave,
didn't want to be
but
there.
I'm not gonna lie. Like we had our moments like where we were really supportive of our school, but at the same time, we weren't gonna stay after and work on posters or anything like that. I mean, I feel sorry for the SGA kids out there. You guys did not know what you were signing up for, and the next thing you know, you got stuck in that class.
We're already doing that homecoming till midnight every night sort of deal. We're already on that because it's a week away.
Arabian Nights, big whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
I don't. There's some like, what is that? What's that movie called? Aladdin. Like, is that what you're about to do?
Yes.
Like, actually?
We're actually bringing a camel. A lot. Yeah. For those who couldn't hear, we are bringing a live camel to campus for the dance. It
Are
just
you
got
gonna
approved
have?
yesterday.
So who are gonna be the pooper picker uppers for that thing?
Not me.
I say the SGA president, whoever she is or he is.
If you go to
Oh, wait,
ERHS,
I can't. Never mind. I keep my opinion to myself.
yeah, be careful what you say, because remember, you still go to that school, Matt. We can say whatever we want because this is America. We have First Amendment rights. And don't get me wrong, as much as I know there are some idiots out there who take the First Amendment to a whole nother level, let's not get into that. But we know our rights.
Isn't there a movie where like the villain says or someone says we can do whatever we want?
That sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger
I'm
on
trying to
it.
figure out like where that's from.
For all you movie watchers out in the audience, please.
You Netflixers
Please.
over here.
Use our Twitter, actually. Hit us up on Twitter and
Yeah,
let us
that
know if you
Twitter-
can think of the movie.
Yeah, our Twitter's going to be, I believe it is. The username is kind of weird because I don't know what Twitter was doing with their lives when they made this username.
They
And
made it.
honestly, like, I typed in a username that was very universal to the rest of our social media, but they basically told me, go away. So if you type in Subtle Art of Whatever on Twitter or any other social media platform like Facebook or Instagram, it will come up. But for Twitter specifically, the username is going to be of OF and subtle SUBTLE. Okay? Now, if you can't find it, well, I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with you.
It'll be linked.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, just type in Subtle Art of Whatever. We have the same profile picture among all of our social media platforms, so it should be pretty easy to find. Just look for the one that literally has Jake, Matt, and Tyler on it, or Jacob as it says. And then you should also see our slogan, and yeah, that's about it. You'll see like a little MacBook in the background there, like a book on a desk, and you'll see.
I'm still on trying to figure out where the hell that's from, because I can like picture it in my head, but I can't like put it to anything.
Let it be known, Jake doesn't watch Netflix too often. He's always at work.
Is it from Netflix?
What is that?
I
I
don't
don't think it's
think
from
so,
Netflix.
so
It's from
I'm
a
just
movie.
putting it out
I
there.
swear it's from a movie.
Where else would you watch a movie besides the movie theater? I mean, you have Hulu, and Hulu they have commercials, and it's
There's plenty of.
I'm gonna search it up because I really don't know.
Do we have time? Do we have time for you to search that up?
Yeah, because while he's doing that, you can.
Oh, it's from Venom.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Oh,
Well, that was quick.
yeah, it's from Venom.
Thank you, Google.
Right?
Shout out!
I,
Shout out!
I didn't even finish like searching it, and it just said that we can do whatever we want, and then said Venom right next to it. But yeah, because that's because Eddie was like the guy who like gets attacked by the morph. He's like we can't do that. And he's like, the way I see it, we can do whatever we want. And I was
going to punt you. Was it in the wind like a turd?
yeah. I don't remember how it goes, but I know what you're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, please.
Yeah.
I hate how
What are you doing?
I hate how your Bible is organized because like I understand how it is. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. I was 2 pages off. I don't know how.
All right, Tyler's over here trying to struggle with the phone charger.
Listen, Jake and his Apple products, I can't even begin. Like, they could make something a little more sturdy over here.
That's not made by Apple.
Exactly. Like, they should make it by Apple because Apple knows what they're doing. Whoever this third-party company is, please get a better design.
Wait, what's the reading on it? Crap. It's 13. It's
You gotta push it in a little bit more, Tyler. That's what she said.
it's 1 Corinthians.
Okay, I got it.
13.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, it's I'm trying to find a reading because it's
Okay.
I know it's one.
Shut this off before
It's 1 Corinthians 13, but I can't find the passage. Oh, I found it. It's worded differently in your Bible, Jake. But I found it for later.
What is it for? What is it?
Oh, it's just I don't know. I heard it one day in church and I like it. It's like your favorite. I forgot the name of the song, but by Macklemore. But love is patient, love is kind.
Oh yeah. Well, same love.
Same love, thank you. That's the name of the title. Yeah, so the whole passage is like, love is patient and kind, love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong. And basically the rest of the passage just goes about what love is by the Bible's definition. And it actually speaks real truths, especially to today's values.
Have you said which reading that is? Have you put it out there yet?
1 Corinthians 13, 4 through, it goes up just pretty much about to 8. I would say that's a rough estimate. But once you start reading at 4, basically read up to it, however you feel, I guess.
Right, it's a pretty powerful message there, folks.
Yeah, if you read the whole thing, it really does numbers. But
All right, do we have anything else we want to say about the podcast?
We are not afraid to speak our minds in a lot of topics. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some very controversial topics out there. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. We may not get into in depth in every topic we discuss on this podcast. And that being said, if you have anything you want us to discuss, like I said, send us a message on any of our social media platforms. But also, could we get more Twitter followers, please? Like, we've only got, well, I'm not going to say the exact number, but follow us on the Twitter of Subtle.
So Tyler, we're gonna get to the follow us on our social media. We'll get to that.
I'm just saying.
It's at the end of the notebook.
Okay,
Check
but
your script,
some,
Tyler.
but if
Check
you
your script.
listen, we don't have a script. Okay, listen.
They don't know that.
Yeah, but the more we say it, the more they're gonna understand.
That's Jake's.
What is this right here?
It's your mom. I don't know. Listen.
Whoa.
The more I tell these,
Dang.
the more I tell the
Too
audience,
soon.
go to sleep. The more I tell the audience about
Say that one more
following
time.
us on our social media, the more they're gonna do it. So, folks, please enjoy. Please enjoy that you were a part of this little fight, and me saying.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot more fights on this podcast.
Listen,
Oh, wait.
follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And why don't we just throw the YouTube channel out there or whatever, Jacob? There's no volume button on that remote because Jake doesn't have the latest Apple TV, okay?
You're right, I don't, because I don't really use the Apple TV that much to do
I
it.
do, and I do have the latest one. It's actually quite great.
I know it is. I had one when I lived with my parents.
Had is the key word.
Yeah. You're so annoying, Tyler.
Fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yo, you need to say that just by itself.
Fascinating.
Damn.
That's our word for the week. Fascinating.
That's gonna be a word for the year.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty
A
much.
whole 4 months. Wow.
And for my Easter friends, before I graduated, y'all will know the word weeaboo really well. Just putting that out there.
Tyler, what happened to not saying the name of the school?
Oh well, bleep it out for all I care.
Redacted, Jim. Redacted.
It's a good thing that we aren't streaming live right now.
Oh, wait, you didn't know? He actually.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, no, we're live.
Oh, yeah, we're live.
We have.
Well,
five-
thank you, Mr.
We are every time you click on the play button for the podcast, it is a live recording.
Yeah, how many viewers are we at right now?
We are at 16, 43, 44, 45, 46.
It's fluctuating. It's fluctuating.
Man, we're really skyrocketing.
We got lots of views.
Are those just short people, or do they? Are they
That's
amputees?
just only a part of them like on it. Yeah,
It-
like only their foot is loaded
no,
into the
it-
system.
It's only like when you know how you play Netflix on the TV, but you're just on your phone.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh, they're just it's just playing in the
Yeah,
background.
they're not 100% paying attention to it.
So what's next on the agenda?
when they're driving, you know, Mr. Man.
Okay, you were saying something and you just stopped. What about when
I
they're?
was saying, like, you know how, like, when you're driving and you're like playing music or whatever, you're not paying 100% attention to what you're doing. So,
Oh, no,
like,
yeah,
saying
you're
that's
not-
what
you're-
part of those viewers are.
For sure, you're not paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, like when you text me, I'm not paying attention when I'm driving.
Oh,
you
texting and
should.
driving.
I know.
That's another topic.
Actually,
That's another podcast
Just
episode,
a funny-
texting and driving.
a funny
I'll add it to the
hold
list.
on, a funny-
Especially in Florida, folks.
I just got a funny story though. So earlier on my way here, I got McDonald's and I was eating a McChicken, and a cop pulls up to me as I have one hand on the wheel and I have the McChicken in my hand as I'm trying not to spill the sauce on my lap. And I was like, please don't say I would get in trouble for this McChicken. I was praying to God, and that cop was like on the laptop or on their phone or something. They were just not looking up. I was like, what?
Let it be known, our men and women of our local law enforcement community, they know how to do their job. And let me tell you right now, when you're at a red light, you try not to look around, but they're probably running your tag because they want to see if your car is illegal or not.
No,
So, folks, to kind of get rid of some of the hysteria out there, when they're sitting up behind you at that red light, they are running your tag and they know everything there is to know about your car before that light even turns green. Also, when they're following you for 3 or 4 blocks, they're just going the same direction. They're not following you, okay? Please get that out of your head. Because then you drive like 2 miles an hour.
PSA.
Yeah, you're driving like 2 miles an hour in a 45. We don't have time for that traffic. Okay, end rant. What's next on the agenda, Jake?
Just real quick, so everybody can like know this about Tyler. Tyler's trying to become a cop, and he did this thing called Explorers. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm currently doing, but let me tell you, it is the best thing in my
shut up,
life.
Tyler.
Okay, they know the. Oh wait, we can't say the company name.
Yeah,
And
we
he-
can't say the agency name, but just know it is one of the largest county law enforcement agencies in Central Florida. That much I can say.
Tell me the one that you're currently with.
In Central Florida.
Oh,
What
yes.
what else is Central Florida besides where we are?
Also, just to add into that, I'm also
a
a
lot of different places.
yeah. There's a lot. I'm also
We're just most of it.
yeah. I'm also
Just give it away. We live in Orange County.
Cut the cast. Cut the cast.
yeah. Cut the cast over there. I might get.
I'll just beat
I
it out.
swear, if I get
It'll
fired,
just be a
for
really
this,
loud beep.
if I get fired for this,
County.
Yeah, blink.
I think orange and take out county.
Hey, I mean, it could work because you have Orange City, you have Orange this, Orange Fields.
Because he wouldn't know if I'm talking about Orange County, Orange City. Like he wouldn't know like what the other second word.
But you
would
see,
be.
our luck, I'll
It
get
could be-
fired.
It could be Orange County, California.
Oh yeah.
We've
There's
already
more than
said-
one
we-
Orange County.
We already said
I have
Florida.
no idea.
has.
I'm pretty sure there's more.
Well, we could bleep that out too. We'll bleep you
bleep-
out.
just bleep
I'm
Florida
gonna
out.
be about I'm gonna be about floor, and it's gonna be duh.
Orange bleep.
Duh. Orange bleep duh.
And just a little more background. I'm also a security person because, or as they call it, as they said in my training class, professional security officer, because we don't use the term guard. I don't understand why.
Basically a step up from Paul Blart.
Yeah, no, actually, if you think about it, the policy is a hands-off policy, so it probably is just Paul Blart. I look like Paul Blart in the uniform, not going to lie.
Oh my god.
It's a white shirt with, like, the black pants, and anyway.
Sir,
Well,
Paul
well
Blart.
let's try to like wrap this up here. and-
Yeah, so Jake fixes phones, Matt doesn't do anything, and that's about it.
I teach water instruction.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
anymore.
Matt teach water's instructions, guys.
Only during certain seasons.
Oh, and another one of our friends is a famous actor, but doesn't work for Universal.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah,
put
yeah.
that out there.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna say his name, but it's
'Cause he's famous, but if you want his autograph, let us know.
it's definitely Manny. That's a good one for that name, Manny.
Yeah.
Colin.
Yeah, Manny Collins.
Is Collins his literal last name?
No.
Are you lying to me?
Why would I lie to you?
Because you're Tyler and you lied about everything.
True. That's factual.
You're just mad because you fell asleep during the ceremony today, okay?
Okay, it's not like I fell asleep at this ceremony. I was asleep while the ceremony
What's
was
next on
going
the agenda?
Yeah, so let's move on from the ceremony, please.
Yeah, let's wrap up this intro so that people can actually hear the podcast. Then we can
The whole
argue on
podcast
there.
is an intro.
To be
Okay, well,
honest.
okay, well, okay, whatever.
Whatever.
Just stop talking.
Stop saying your title. Just get on with it.
I'm gonna fucking lose my shit.
Whoa.
Language.
This is
This podcast is definitely gonna have
This
some
is for
foul
little
language
ears.
in it.
Little ears, Jacob.
Wait, we forgot to tell you folks, disclaimer, there's going to be a lot of language on this. We forgot to say that earlier. Just putting it out there.
If you're watching on YouTube,
We'll film a disclaimer at the very beginning and just put it at the beginning of every
Well,
episode.
if you're watching
Yeah.
on YouTube, there'll be visuals too. There'll be a
Yeah,
visual
so
disclaimer.
just putting that out there. We're
And
turn it
this
back
is gonna be a
Jake.
picture of us just slowly moving across the
Just us
screen.
doing this.
So we're just going to turn it back to Jake
Just
now.
us doing this. Just us.
Yeah. We're
Explicit
We're just going to turn it back to Jake now. Let him wrap this up.
it's
Because
just-
just so you folks know, this is the intro.
It's the
We're,
picture of the guy
yeah.
from Stranger Things.
We're already at 23 minutes for the intro.
It's the picture of the guy from Stranger Things. Just
Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Okay, back to Jake.
Okay, so that's all we have for the episode 1 of our podcast of the subtle art of whatever. It was episode 0. What did I say? This is episode 1?
said one.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is episode 1. I'm sorry. Damn, I did it again.
Episode point
It's
one.
it's episode 0, folks. Okay, Jake, what's the next thing?
Okay, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode of the podcast, which will be about cheating and friendships and relationships. You know, all the good stuff.
Fascinating.
Simply
Fascinating. All right. Don't forget to follow our social media, our Instagram, which is,
Subtle art of whatever.
and then our Facebook, which is,
Subtle art of whatever.
and then our Twitter
Of subtle.
of subtle
Subtle.
of subtle for Twitter.
Professional at the at.
And then, you know, go
Isn't that
ahead and
copyrighted?
follow my YouTube channel, which this podcast will also be posted on if you are on listening on the podcast app from Apple Podcasts. It is whatever Jacob, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how the name ties into the YouTube channel.
Wait, let me check the script. Yep, fact checked it. You're good.
Fascinating.
Oh my god, I can't stand these kids. We will see you all in the next one.
Whoa. Are you identifying my age status? Think about
Thanks
it
for
real
listening.
hard. Think about it real
Thanks for
hard,
listening,
Jake.
folks.
Thanks for listening.
That's all.
That's all, folks.
I bet you were gonna say son of a son.
That's probably copyrighted. Just putting that out there. I'm gonna put my voice over
Oh,
that so we don't
that's
get-
copyrighted?
It probably is.
That's all. Please.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Copyrighted.
It felt like a copyrighted.
Okay. I'll see you later.